Well, howdy. Hopefully this is working. So, I'm going to do a quick overview on the Railcraft systems and some of the really cool stuff that they've got in them. So, I'm going to cover the steam engines. The train engine or electrical trains require just a bit more work, but they are still pretty cool. So, there is a bunch of new cart types. We've got this good old standard chest carts. We got furnace carts where you can burn, put stuff up. Hopper carts, which you can pass underneath chests and have them pull stuff in and feed them to another chest. And you have a work cart for crafting. And there's also tank carts and a bunch of other carts. You can link these as long as you want. I've had 25 car trains that work just beautifully. So let's set one of these up. So put the locomotive down. To link cars, you sneak and then right click with the crowbar on the first and on the second car, and they're linked. Then you add some water to the train and put in some coal or coke, or there's a bunch of things you can use. You'll see the temperature come up. When it hits 100, it'll start generating steam, and when the steam gets to 50%, the train will start moving. You can idle it, which reduces usage but keeps it warm. One thing to watch out for with the steam trains is if you run out of water and it's still hot and you put more water in, the boiler will explode. So you either have to wait for it to cool down or you have to not let it run out of water. Those are the only two real caveats. So while that's coming up to speed, we'll get this one going. So the heavier the load, the slower the train goes. As you can see, with 3 cars, it moves pretty decently. Once you drop it to 1 car or 2 cars, that thing starts moving pretty quickly. You can see the difference in speeds. Now, Railcraft adds in a couple of very neat switching mechanics. There's 2 types of intersections. There's standard switching track, which works by switching onto or off the main spur. And it only works in one direction, but you can switch it. So, in other words, you can go straight or you can go on from one direction. You can't go on to the other. If you want to be able to have either direction go off, you need to do this, where you've got 2 side-by-side spurs and then they merge. You've got switch tracks, which let you determine whether or not the and this is the Y track, which is anything from this direction goes up here, anything from this direction goes up here, anything coming this way goes one way or the other, depending on the switch. So there's 3 switch types. This is the manual switch. Oops. There we go. So as you can see, it just switches which way the trains that are coming this way will get diverted. This is a redstone one, runs off a redstone. As you can see, that goes back and forth, determines what happens. One thing to remember is in this situation, if a train comes from this way, when it's like this, it'll set it back to pass through, to straight until the train goes by, and then it'll go back to this. And this is the super powerful one. This is the routing switch. So this one works off a routing table, which is simply a book that you tell it what you want. So if you give the train a ticket with a destination of home base, and then put this in, any train that comes by with a ticket that says home base on it will be switched up that line. One of the things to remember is in these guys, you've got a lot of room to make some pretty complex programs, but they have a help function in there, which, despite being a big button, is actually kind of easy to miss. And it lists all the keywords and what you need: true, false, colors, all of that. And it gives you a couple of sample scripts. And you can also use regex, which is a way of doing multiple things off of the same words. So that is very powerful. So trains at full speed, as this pig found out, will kill you. in normal mode. In creative, they don't do quite as much damage. So let's send this. So now we switch that. Alright, so here's where it starts getting really powerful. These lights can control other devices. So you've got this light here and that light there. Any train in this section will cause it to change colors. Yellow for the light that it's going away from, red for the light it's going towards. And so you put two of those up and use a tuner, and you can connect it to other devices. In this case, this is a receiver with a locking track on top. And when the locking track is, as you can see, when that train goes through, it stops any train coming up behind it until it's clear of that section. So you put one of these behind one of those, and if you've got two trains right behind each other, it'll slow the second one out until you've got a space of separation. And you can use it in either direction, for instance, to do when you've got two-lane tracks at your home base, single track way out to somebody else's base, and then two-lane track. You can use this to determine whether there's a train on the track and prevent a new one from coming on and going head on, because that will cause them to explode if you do go head on. It's pretty straightforward. It's a lot of fun. There's a lot of new track. Give you a few examples here. You got booster track, which exactly what it sounds like. It will, when you apply redstone, it will speed up your trains. Detector track will send a redstone signal when a train goes over. Activator track will activate other devices further down the line. So you've got switch track, Y track. Junction track is the third type of intersection I forgot to cover. And that is simply a cross track. So you've got four. And this is an primary situation where you would want to use those lights and a stop track. So you would put a stop track here and then put a light there and a light there. Any train on this section would prevent the trains from crossing until it's clear. You can name your locomotives, name your cars, just put them in an anvil and give them a car, because one of the multiple things you can sort by is whether it's train names. You can sort by the tickets. So let's do a quick example of the routing table with the destination tickets. So you want a routing motor, put that down, and a routing table. So we're going to set it to have destination of short train. So I'll use one of the other ones. Yeah, it's creative. You can use slow down tracks to get it to stop. And we're going to take this ticket, right click on the ticket, and put in a destination. Short train. Right click on the train, put the ticket in the slot, creates a copy of it, so you can actually take this master ticket out and it'll keep that ticket. If it has a name, it'll add its destination on top of it. If it doesn't have a name, you'll just see the destination. Alright, so it's set for straight, but because it matches what was on that list, it'll actually send it, switch it and send it up. So let's get this train sped up so we don't have a collision. So that one, oh, there we go. So this one does not have any ticket or name. So this one will not trigger that. It is very powerful. Oh, looks like a chicken found out about the trains too. Pardon me. So that's just a quick overview of the basics. There is a lot. The one thing I did want to mention is on the signal lights. When you're setting those up, you just put them over the track or next to the track. They have a this one. So if the light is here, the track can be anywhere in this plus, and the light can be up to 2 layers above the rail. So for track that's anywhere in this plus, these are all valid. If you're trying to signal off of that piece there, this is not a valid position. Or if you're trying to signal off of this one, that would not be a valid position. Whereas this, and so on are valid positions. So that's the one thing you've got to remember on these. So let's put in a light. Now, we say we got to put a light around the corner here. So you want to know if there's a train between there and there. Because this doesn't work around corners, when you go to link them with the signal block surveyor, it says signal block is not valid. What you can do, however, is put a relay in the corner and then go from the light to the relay and from the relay to the other light, and you now have a successful junction that if you put a cart down anywhere in there, it'll still recognize as a valid light set. So this will get you started on Railcraft. I'll start doing some advanced junctions next time, and I'll cover how to set up lights for a system like this and how to use the dual-headed light blocks. Thank you and have a great day. I'll talk to everyone later. Bye.